"Let's break up." That line, which could have driven anyone insane, doesn't move our boy. And it wasn't just any girl, it was the hottest girl in the whole school. Yet, he chooses to focus on bigger things rather than a simple breakup. Aiming to reach the pinnacle of martial arts, the hero seizes every chance that comes his way. A host of headline-making events are worth discussing. But the real headline of the day is Fang Yi getting dumped by his goddess-like girlfriend, Shu Qingli, known as Lily. Online critics can't stop hating, insisting the protagonist never deserved her. Lily, the top-scoring student dubbed the school flower, had been with the former underdog MC, sparking a flurry of hate and commentary. Standing before a crowd, she confronts Fang Yi and candidly reveals that, after reflecting on their relationship, she finds him no longer a fit once the honeymoon phase has faded. The main reason for their breakup is the gap in their status, with her seeing herself as better in every way. In hearing her, he falls silent, knowing a reunion is out of reach. That silence makes everyone wonder if he's going through a psychosis. But the real twist comes when he shows he barely cares, leaving everyone baffled. He starts to walk away, yet his coldness wounds Lily's ego. She angrily declares she'll never get back with him, no matter what he tries. He turns back and, with a cold tone, tells her not to inflate her ego by thinking she's too important to him. As he walks away, he realizes these people are oblivious to the looming crisis. In reality, our boy isn't from this era. He's actually from the future, reincarnated into our timeline. He ignores what others say about him, convinced that everything will soon return to normal. The real story began the night before. He learns that the revival of spiritual energy will begin in almost a year. When it does, the world will experience its most unpredictable changes. This era will also see the rise of spiritual practitioners, and everyone will be judged. By their power, a ball of light materializes before him, and he wonders what it is as he reaches out. Inside it, the panel indicates that the system comes from the end of the universe. Harnessing a supreme algorithm steeped in cosmic secrets, it automatically generates spiritual techniques derived from the spiritual beings the user touches. His current count of personal techniques. It is 0. When he slips his hand into the panel, a monster springs forth and he meets death. It turns out this was the fate that awaited him as a regular human. Though he somehow survived the catastrophe, he witnessed his town wiped out. In the end, he died, clinging to a hope for revenge. Now he feels the system has granted him a second chance, and he will use this year to rewrite his destiny before the tragedy arrives. The panel tells him he's bound to the system, unlocking a new path. Realizing he can tap into anything to build system techniques, he chooses the finest tools to become an invincible practitioner. At the same time, a warning is issued. Humanity faces a dire threat, and everyone will have to fend for themselves. The authorities have been candid, urging people to protect themselves because there will be no backup for anyone. In the past, a story like this would never have been allowed to air, but this time the rules have changed. Through this broadcast, the country has made its citizens aware and ready for what's coming. Even if it's exhausting, it's still far better than letting chaos spread across nations, with everyone going berserk and raiding everything to survive. He checks his phone, knowing that whenever something strange happens, he must be ready to grab any clue that could help him build his power. Suddenly, a notification about a severe heat wave from his university pops up. At first, everyone thinks it's fake. But he knows that whenever a weird phenomenon pops up, people dismiss it as a media stunt and laugh it off. Yet this could be the perfect chance for our protagonist. Fang Yi arrives at the university, a feeling of dread settling over him as sweat drips from his brow. He notices glowing orbs scattered on the floor. Kneeling down, he touches one, and a notification panel flashes, warning of a severe solar energy disturbance. Grasping the signal, his body suddenly starts to shift, and he can't understand the changes, feeling as though he could collapse at any moment. All eyes stare at him, and after a tense moment, the transformation completes, granting him the golden sun breathing technique. The enrollment day at Ching Cheng University has arrived, and our protagonist's former girlfriend. She was spotted walking with her bag among the other students, and her charm had every guy acting like a ravenous dog. She was gawking at a bone. Some offered to carry her bag, while others gave their contact numbers. Politely declining, she seemed unbothered, having grown used to that sort of response. Listen up. Lily then overheard a talk between two lovebirds who were just happy that they would get to see each other more often and felt clingy. Suddenly, there was an announcement about a heat wave swirled around the north gate, and students were warned to stay clear. Out of curiosity, Lily was drawn into the odd happenings, so she decided to look into them. She pulled it out herself. Meanwhile, our boy had just undergone a wild transformation, and now his body. It could soak up the sun's heat to strengthen itself just by staring at the sun. I hope he doesn't lose his sight. The panel showed he'd earned a few writing points, so he assumed. It was a nice thing, and I barely thought about it. Suddenly, the sky turned dark and the students felt the air grow chillier as they spotted a crowd gathering at the north gate, and everyone headed over. Despite the announcement, a man in a brown outfit urged everyone to check in quickly. A cloaked figure on the side, seeming to be their boss, ordered the north gate area to be sealed shut. Meanwhile, Zia Country had declared a contamination zone where spirit return energy could arise. The announcement drew attention, with the military ordering the north gate to be fully sealed, a move that sounds quite serious. Our boy quickly realized he was in the wrong place and ran off. Meanwhile, the cloaked figure watched the scene and cracked the code, showing someone had already started resonating with solar energy. Lily couldn't help but wonder whether this terrifying event was man-made. A strange shadow caught her eye, and she briefly thought it might be her ex, but she dismissed the idea, remembering his mediocrity and knowing he could never earn a place at prestigious King Cheng University. Later at home, Fang Yi felt a relentless heat that no icy shower or air conditioner could quell. He sat up, uneasy that the day's commotion might expose him. When he pulled out his phone, a notification from the Spirit Energy Practitioners Association flashed. He'd known about it earlier, but everyone still treated it as the delusion of someone fusing spirit revival fantasies with the everyday world. That made him wonder whether the person he'd seen earlier at the university could have been one of them. He opened the practitioner rank details, and as he read through them, the description felt almost schizophrenic. But with the association's watermark, it was authentic, issued by the Zia government. In his past, he'd never even heard of it. He was simply an ordinary person with no access to those things. The only real challenge back then was survival, something an ordinary person simply couldn't manage. Our boy came to the conclusion that the signal was a hint from the government itself to those who had awakened spiritual energy. So he sat up and, one by one, began following the instructions. He began with breathing drills to balance the solar energy, then trained his body to draw in the forces of heaven and earth. After a little practice and a keen focus on shaping divine gestures, the system notified him that he had attained the Ghost Axe level. A notification popped up on the panel, telling him he could embed the data he had into anything. He wanted to try, but he still couldn't grasp the idea of writing points, so he decided to give it a go. Fengai raised his hand and gestured toward a cup, and the system asked him if he'd like to embed it. He added a sun attribute, realizing that forced embedding effectively bestowed the object with magical powers. Choosing yes would infuse the cup with his energy, which made him wonder. If he infused his energy into a weapon, would it become his personal weapon? Our protagonist opted to gather data points for various attributes, thinking it would. In the future, a weapon forged with supernatural power will be essential. He stared at the sharp point. He kept a sword in his room and decided to start practicing with it right away, if it worked out. He vowed to upgrade his weapon for the next run, knowing that mutated beasts were coming, so he took every precaution. Later that night, a rabbit with glowing red eyes peered into his room. Unfriendly and unsettling, our protagonist wakes in the middle of the night, feeling a little uneasy. He hears a squeak like a mouse in his apartment and wonders where it came from. After searching the whole space, he finds nothing. Perhaps it was a pet in a neighboring unit that sounded like a rat. Since he's undergone the ghost axe, his hearing is sharper than normal, so it's not unusual to pick up sounds from a neighbor's home. Still, he hopes they keep their voices down. Suddenly, a voice drifts from the corridor outside his door, and he decides to investigate. When he opens the gate, a horror movie scene unfolds: a mutated rabbit. A chill crawls down his spine as echoes of his former life linger. Meanwhile, a cloaked girl perched atop a building remarks that the rabbit that devoured the dark spirit fruit is still loose and moves with startling speed. Licking a lollipop, she asks to be kept posted on any new developments. She rushes through the building, feeling the beast's aura. The dark energy trail she senses confirms it's already in the residential area. She warns everyone that the beast that devoured the dark spirit fruit is still transforming and must be kept in mind. He races through the city, leaping from tower to tower, pursued by a surge of dark energy. A passerby staring at the 60-story building wonders if he's seeing a hallucination. Back to our hero, he's locked in battle with a mutated rabbit. His new form lets him dodge most of the beast's onslaught. He can track movements in slow, precise detail, and his muscles move in perfect harmony. Still, he can't fathom how quickly these aberrant creatures have appeared. The rabbit hasn't finished transforming yet, and dark energy is constantly feeding it. If he doesn't stop the rabbit, every resident of the building will become its next meal. With that thought, the hero rushes at the mutated beast and quickly discovers that the rabbit's its weakness lies in its tail. Fang Yi clenches a fist and smacks the mutated rabbit with such force that it seriously